So today we start off module 2. Module 1, last time uh, we didn't we didn't connect any Excel. We didn't connect data, if I can remember very well. Then um, creating your first report, maybe that's what we are going to rely on. Then we shall jump directly to Power Query and data cleaning. And most of the things I will just share the notes you have. Just a moment. How are you? I'm fine. Okay, you go. Sorry for that. So we start with how do we connect data sources, that is Excel, CSV, web. That's exactly what we start with. You can go ahead and read more notes about that, but I will take you through how you connect data on the web. First of all, before we move further, I will open my BI tool. I will close this. It's not our report. And yeah, close that. Close that. Don't save. So let me hope all of us we have at least downloaded Power BI on our PCs. Because where we are going now, it is completely hands-on, that you'll need to redo whatever we are doing in these classes. So I'm opening a new BI window. And when you do open, this is the way how it looks like. This is the way how it opens. Last time I went through a process on how you can download and how you can install. Maybe if you have any challenge, you can always reach me in inbox. But we did that. So when you open a new BI window, this is the way how it appears. First of all, we always focus on the blank report. But in case you are working already on a report that you had opened before, you'll always find it in the recent reports that you opened. And here it will always show the location where it is. In case you have forgotten where you saved your file, you can tell where it was saved. So for this time, this case, I'm going to open a new blank file, and this is the way how it opens. With time, I'm going to take you. I will be taking you through some of the pages, ribbons, and all that. So under menu, we have home with a lot of functions. We have insert with a lot of functions. We have modeling, we have view, optimize. It is not a must that you must know everything at a go. So just focus on the main, then the others will come in handy. Now, the views that we have report view, we looked at that. We have table view, we have model view, and we have these DAX. But the major three views are these. You have to make sure that you master these. Report view comes first. What is the purpose of the report view? This is where we do all the data visualization and reporting and everything. Though on our roadmap, it comes like number 3 or number 4. Right now, our focus is going to be on data transforming, cleaning in Power Query. Then after that, when we have loaded our data, we shall be having our data here in the right pane. And the moment you click on any table, it will be showing a spreadsheet, like how you see your data in Excel. Then here, we shall be looking at how our models are. Those are the relationships. And obviously, it will be giving you all the details of everything you have in your report. How many expressions you have, how many functions you have, how many measures you have, we are going to look at them. How many relationships, how many rows, how many tables, Everything, you can always see all those details here in data module. Sorry, model view, or we call it data modeling. The name is changing to schema model, schema or schematic or schema, something like that, which still means data modeling. So the legacy way we are calling it data modeling, but the new naming that has been given is a schema. Then with the DAX query view, we are going to look at that like in our 7th module, not right now. Okay, how do you pick data from the internet? First of all, from the web. We can start off with that. So the major function here you use is the get data. The get data has all the options: Excel, Power BI, semantic model. We have the data flows, we have Dataverse, we have SQL servers. Some corporates have systems that have SQL servers. So when you log into that server, you can get the data directly. So this time we are going to focus on web. Web is if you want to pick data from the internet. And that data may be unstructured or it may be structured in form of a table, but for now we are going to just look at the basic on how we pick that data. First of all, let's go to the web. So I always love to go to Wikipedia. So I will go to Wiki. Then I look out for, let me look out for world population data by country. So I'm just picking data randomly, so that's what I have thought about. Now, maybe you're doing a research on population globally, and you want to have a report or a dashboard that you're going to include part of your research, or even it can be maybe it is an analysis that you have been told to do. So now you look out. Why I'm looking out for Wikipedia, because sometimes it is the authentic site where you can find data that is accurate. I can call it that way. But there are even other websites like the Data Bank opened, like those authentic companies who do research into population and all that. Then we have Kaggle. Kaggle, this is a site that will be your friend. If you need data, they have a lot of data sources. You go there, pick data for free, and use it in your own analysis. Now, let's focus on our table. We can go with this or the other one, all the same. I will open one. So, first of all, I want to first look at how does the data look like. Then I start planning. Is it the data I need? Then how can I move it in Power BI? So this is the list of countries and dependencies by population. So if I scroll down, here we meet our first table, which is giving us location, population. It is giving the percentage to the whole world, when it was last updated, the source of data, which means every number here has the source of data, but it may not be the concern right now. Actually, we can pull this table. So we can pull this table, and this table is, I think, sufficient now. So this is the table we are going to pull. So here also they are telling you that you can list by countries, by population, by United Nations, demographic of the world, list of countries, dependence by area. There is a lot. List of countries by the number of birth. So let's go with this. Now, what do I do? When I view a table which I need to pull in Power BI, I'll just copy the URL. Then go back to my Power BI here. Then I say get data, get it from the web. like this, and I should wait for a dialog box to open, which is this. I will paste the URL here, go ahead and do OK. So obviously we are getting data from the net. It is going to run. We shall wait for it to refresh and give us the next step. And sometimes it may depend on the internet you're running. But since the data we are pulling is very small, we should expect this in a few seconds. In case you have any question, please, you can pause. It should be a two-way session. You can pause me and ask any question. So our table is loading. So now we are pulling the table from Wikipedia, bringing it into Power BI. So the same thing, you can use it to pull essential data that you may need. Like it can be banking details or branches of a certain bank, or it can be forex details and all that. Yes, Liz.
Hi, Chris. Hi, everyone on the call. I need clarity on the URL. The URL code, does it continuously change if I have like 4 tables from the site? So if I tap on the first table, is the URL different from the URL of the second table?
Now that one depends. If that table is on the same page, like, just a moment. Let's first go back and look at what Liz is asking. I'm adding my speaker here, my microphone. I think I realized that I'm having echo, so okay, then this. Okay, it should be clear now. Now, what we are talking about is this. So you see, Liz, this URL I've picked, I'm having this table, and even we're going to see in Power BI the way how it picks it. We have this table, but even when you scroll, some of the data, you see this data structured like this, but in its ideality, that data is in a table, though it doesn't have borders. So when you go the other side of programming, you'll find that such a list of references, it is a table of 2 columns, let's say, but it has no borders. But when you pull it in Power BI, it will show you that this is also a table. So you'll find that a page has even more than 5 tables, but at the end of the day, your focus is the table you want. Now you can even see this at the end. Also, these are tables. We're going to look at them. So, which means when you pick a URL, the physical table that is there, you're going to check in Power BI whether it's the table you need, because you're going to hover through them. It's not a must that you must find one, and the link doesn't change. But if you have more than one table on the same page, let's say if I open Premier League, I'm going to this maybe for the purpose of answering that question. The Premier League page, standings. Now, when you come on this page, we are going to find more than one table that is visible. And when you're pulling, still those tables will be visible in Power BI. So you'll have to know which exact table do you need. Is it taking long? Okay, as it opens, we shall come back to this. But I think I've partially answered that question. Now, let me answer that question more when we come here. Now, when you look at the navigator that I've brought for you, it is split into HTML tables, suggested tables, then here there is text. So when you click at this, you view what it is showing exactly from the web, but this is not our concern. Now, what you see here, this format, is the table. Anything that you see has a blue on top, that is like a column head or something, like a header. Now let's start with number 1. So when you click at this, you'll see the preview exactly. This is the table. we need. You see, this is the exact table we need. And if you want to change on web view the way how it should have appeared on web, this is the way how the web is appearing. You get? That is the table we are pulling. So when you come on table 2, let's go back on table view. You see table 2 is like, it is giving like a key to that table, which is not now our concern. When you come to table 2, okay, the other one was 1. You see also it is just, I think it is the one we saw at the end. When you come to table 3, like on that URL, there are many small tables, which even are not visible when you look out for them the other side. But the major table we need, even that table has a name. These others don't have names. It means when they were programming, they never bothered to give them names, but this one has a name. So when you look at it, that's it. So here we can't load it, we can't transform it. Why? Because we have not checked. We just clicked on it, we previewed, but we have not checked. So you'll come here, and when you click on that, then it gives you the options of either loading it or transferring it, transforming it. Now, there are other options I want to show here. You know, you will always get worried, why it not showing like how we saw it in the session. When this tick is not there, even if you click on these tables, they don't preview because the preview is disabled. Why may you have it disabled? Let's say if I'm working on data, I know which table it is, but maybe in the back end, someone who is standing near me is not meant to look at that data. Maybe it is a payroll, and I'm pulling that payroll. Then you can disable the preview, something like that. And you pull it directly and load it wherever it is supposed to be. But you know, sometimes people have called me, but you see, I'm not seeing this. It is always that check. You get that. So you enable it. Then there is another option here. Only select item. You see, you only see the selected item. And any item that is not selected, you don't see it. So also this check is by default always not there, such that you can easily review this. Okay, that's it. Now, I think I've answered your question, Liz. Now, when we come to these two buttons, there is transform data and there is loading data. Now, transforming data means that you're taking this data in a playground where we do transformation of data, which we call Power Query. So Power Query is the environment where we do transformation of data. So when you click on this, it will open another window in front of the BI interface, which we call a Power Query editor. But when we just say load, it will automatically load into our Power BI interface, right? But as a disciplined someone who has dealt with data, it's always good to use transform data. You review it, even if it is clean, then you load after you have reviewed it, rather than loading it directly into your data set. So I'll do transform data, and it will open a Power Query editor. So let's give it time. Feel free to ask any question when we pause. Now, this is the way how it opens. When you look at this, you see we have a Power Query, we have an editor. If I can minimize this, you see we have a window that has opened in front of the other one we have been working on. And this one, we call it Power Query Editor. Wherever you find the word Power Query Editor, know that is the interface we use to transform data. All the features that are here are there for you to clean your data. So you can see Home. Home has most of the shortcuts, right? But most of these features here, you'll still find them under Transform. Let's run through them quickly. So under Transform, you find their table, like you can transpose, you can reverse rows. You know, transpose is changing columns into rows. Then we have under any column, we have where you can detect data types. We are going to look at that. we have detecting data types. You can rename that. If I select here and say rename, yes, Andrew?
Yeah, I have a question on that. On loading data or getting data from a source. What if you have a filtered sheet? What will be the behavior?
Now, when you have a filtered sheet, let's say Excel, this time, this side of Power Query, it comes as a whole. So when you have data the other side filtered, it comes this side as a whole. We shall try out that, or you can always try it out. It will always come as a whole. Why am I saying that? The filters that are with the data source don't come with the data in Power Query. Power Query will always pick them as a whole sum. Then you do the filter from this side because Power Query Edit has its own filters. Now, let's look at these major parts we have in Power Query Editor. Number one, we have a menu. We have a ribbon that the whole of this is a menu with different features. Then any query you load, even if you load more than 5 tables, they will all load here. They will all load there. Then here, this is the query settings. If you want to give the name, to change this name, list of countries, it is so big. When you start doing formulas and DAX, it is so big that you can't contain it. We'll always change to a shorter name. Then here we have applied steps. Anything you do in Power Query Editor, it logs here. Any step you do keeps loading here. Every step. And when you are in Power Query Editor, we don't do Ctrl-Z because it is not there. You can't undo. When you cancel this, it means you have to redo it to reappear. You can't say Ctrl-Z. No. There is no Ctrl-Z in the Power Query Editor. Then, here, this is now the data playground. This is the data you have. Now, this data has a bar here which we call, you can call it a function bar, but it always picks the code. Every step you're on here, Power BI in the background is writing the code for you. For you, you do things like you delete column, it writes the code. You do this, it writes the code. So with time, you'll find that also you can go to this code and edit it directly from there, when now you know that this is what I'm meant to do. Or you can review it, what is going wrong, something like that. And that's why maybe if you meet it somewhere, in Power BI, the language that we use is called M-code. M-code stands for mashup. The word is like this. It is M-A-R-S-U-P, mashup. So that's why we call it M-code like this. The details to that, you can read more. So when you hear people saying, I'm learning Python, that's a language, I'm learning HTML, they also term it as a language. SQL is a language, just in short. So even mashup code is a language. The way how things are done, that's how we note something to be a language. Because when you're speaking Luganda, when you're speaking Lutoro, when you're speaking English, the way how you write it is different. So that's why even these languages become different, because the way how they write them, or how systems write them. Then, now when we come to this, here we have our columns. Those are our columns. Then under the columns, we have something we call column quality or profiling. We are going to look at it, where it tells you that in this column, you have 100% valid, 0% errors, 0% empty. If it is empty, like here in this column, it is showing us 14% is valid, 0 errors, and 86% empty, because most of them were left null, right? Now, this is your data set. So in brief, that's how I can explain this. Then at the bottom here, it shows you the number of columns you have and the number of rows you have in this data. Then here it shows you that, by the way, we are running your data only top 1,000 rows. So always Power Query Editor will work with 1,000 rows, the first 1,000 rows. It will not work with all the data you have imported because it slows down. So the day you want to unveil all the data, you just click here and say column profiling based on entire data. It will give you the entire data. So I think I explained that better, and this interface now should be now familiar to us. Okay, now let's look at our data, how it is, and we see how we can load it, how we play with it the other side. Now this is the population data. I can say this data is already clean. Yes, Liz.
I missed you there. I want clarity. If just below the last bar on column profiling based on the top 100, does it always come as a default?
Yes, this one is already.
It always comes as a default.
This one is always it is always default. Let me highlight it here. You see here, it always default. It always profiles your table you're looking at right now. That, by the way, the table you're looking at has 6 columns and 240 rows. Even though here Power BI tells us that for them, they will always give us the top 1,000, but our data has only 240. If our data has like 10,000, we would be seeing 1,000 rows here and 6 columns. So here you can easily tell that the table I'm running with, even if I don't scroll left, right, down, up, I can also tell the numbers from here. Then, in case you want to change to look at the whole data, you always say entire data set, and it will show you the entire data set. And the entire data set we are running with, they have already told us there are 240 rows, so we don't need to recheck and recheck. So that's it. Now, let's look at some other functionalities. We shall go on checking on them one by one. As I have said, you can't know everything at a go. It is a process. Now, when we do anything here, when you're loading data, always there are those first steps that will come. Like here we are having 4 steps. Let's say if I click on the first step, this is the source. That's when we are pulling this data from the internet. You can see how shabby it is. Don't mind on that. When we come to the second, it extracted tables from HTML. So HTML is a language used in coding. I may not go into its details. Then after that, because it extracted this data and the row number 1 was meant to be the heading. You see on the heading they have defaults, column 1, column 2, column 3. It went and did an automatic promotion. We are going to look at that. Promoting row number 1 to become headers, which was done, right? Then it tells us they did change of type. They changed data types. It means that Power BI automatically looked at our data and saw this is meant to be a number, then it put here 1, 2, 3. This is meant to be a percentage, then it put here percentage. If you click there, you see it is already in percentage. This is supposed to be a text, that's why we have ABC. So when you click on any of these to change data type, you can always look at those data types. We have decimal, fixed decimal, we have whole number, we have percentage, date and time, date, time. Then when you have date, time, and time zone, when you're dealing with duration, when you're dealing with text, like now we have text. If you're dealing with Boolean, like true or false. If you're dealing with binary. but ignore most of them. We know what we always usually use: decimal, currency, fixed decimal, whole number, percentage, then date, period. Others will always come in handy. So if we didn't have this automatically created for us, we are meant to come here and say, let's change this to numbers. Then we come and change it to numbers, either whole number 123 or 1.2, which is a decimal. If it was not, then we would have said this one is a percentage. At the moment you click there, it is asking me, do you want to add a step? Because they are looking at the next step below is change type, and again we are changing type. So they're asking us, do you want to add a step? So the moment you add, obviously it is going to distort the last step, so I will not do this. Now, let's go on properties first. Having your data clean and doing things step by step is always so important in data transformation. By the way, when you're working with data, you should always spend more time, and you'll always spend more time in cleaning data and making relationship, like 80%. 20% is taken by data visualization. When we reach data visualization, it is just a plug and play. Anyone can do it. But the major thing why you stand to be a data analyst or someone who has a skill in data is how you can explore your data, how you can clean it, how you can relate it with the different sources, and loading it ready for use. So we shall come here, change this name. I will call it population like this, just with ease. Then I can put W. I'm putting an underscore. When you're naming in data, whether you're in Excel, whether you're in Tableau, always prohibit on having spaces in names. Whether it is a data range, you're naming a data range, or you're renaming a column. With columns, okay, you can go with that. But when you're renaming a file, because most of the cases, when we reach a point, these two names, they become different. Let's say if I renamed it like this, population world. So at some point when I reach, these names will be looked at different until I put them in quotes. We shall reach a point in DAX, data analytics expressions, where we shall have to use quotes wherever there is any naming that we are pulling. So it is always better when you put there an underscore to make sure that it comes when it is handy. So if I click out or enter this name, you'll see this name changing, population world. Now, the next thing here you have to look at, first of all, we look at nulls. You explore your data first. Even if there are 50 columns, go through them and understand each column. That one will give you a potential on what am I remaining with and what am I removing. Because that is so important. Because you're going to start removing and you don't know what some columns stand for. And you have to talk to the stakeholders to clearly understand what every column stands for, whether it is required in your analysis. Some columns may be vital to the business, but they are not vital to the analysis I'm doing right now. So if I'm doing an analysis of performance and there is, let's say there is employee, let's say age, date of birth, that is not my worry. Just remove them for the purpose of this analysis. And when you're removing them here in your analysis, it doesn't mean that you're deleting them from the source. The source remains intact. Whatever you do in your analysis doesn't change what the source is. But whatever they do in the source, it will impact you this side. It means if you pulled this data like this and someone goes and deletes 2 columns, whenever you're pulling or refreshing this data here in these steps, it will always look for those 2 columns. Like if you see here under change type, if I show you the code here, you see if someone deleted, let's say, a column for source, and this source is part of your steps here, you see. It is coded, it is there. whenever you're refreshing, the system runs through and it meets it. And when in the source data they have removed it, it will reach this point and create an error. Then tell you that a certain column can't be seen. But when you're on the other side of the report, you see everything breaking. Not until you come this side in the back door, that's when you will see those errors. By the time you realize that the data you are pulling from, someone has access and they can edit anything or add. So the moment you start pulling data from whichever source you're pulling it, you make sure that you administer the control of that source. If many people are accessing that source and you can't administer, just move the data you need and take it in another source where you know that it is safe here. Whenever you want updates, then it is you who knows when to update and what to update, whether it is still in the format you used to create your report. That is so important. Most people have spent months, weeks developing reports, but after 2 weeks, someone changes something, you go back to square zero. And it is always not good. So when you're taking on these skills, we start with data governance. You have to govern where that data is. And if you don't have the authority, you have to push the authorities to govern, because you're going to start using the source to develop something. Whatever was being done should be changed. So let's rush into the few things you can always look at. First of all, you look at which one is a key. Obviously, maybe those we shall look at when we have some other data set. Then here what we look out, you look out whether you have nulls. And if you have nulls, is that column so important for me that it has empties that I can move on with? If it is not, then I will have to remove it because I don't need it. Whenever you're cleaning data, you think even about optimization. You think about the future. When someone is pulling you off your data, your report, how long does it take to refresh? If your report takes more than 5 minutes to refresh, then there is a problem how it was cleaned, how it was modeled. You have to go back and do that optimization. You make sure as hard to make sure that you minimize the steps you put here. You don't change data, change type, you do something else, you again change type. You'll find that change type is there like 7 times, yet you would have done it once and for all. So here, let's say I don't need this column because I don't need it in my analysis. I'll just come here and remove column. Or you can come here under choose, you say choose columns, then you uncheck it. Uncheck it, here it is not. So you can use the option of unchecking and it automatically shows you another step that removed other columns. So when you come here on this symbol, it will always tell you what they did. You see? They unchecked notes. So that's it. Then if you are creating a report and you want in future someone to know every step what was being done, you can always right click here and rename that. Here I was removed notes like this. So when someone finds that step, they don't find their removed columns, they find there something that was done. Also, you can say right click and go to properties. Then properties, you give it a description. Let's say I will say removed this column because I never needed it. Right? Then I say okay like this. Now, when you come to the steps, you see that there is that information icon. What you can see, the eye with a dot. So the moment I hover on it, it gives me a display of the comment that person put. And it is always good, by the way, to put comments such that when you come back to your data after a month, and you shouldn't be the one asking us, what did I do here? Why did I put this step? Take time, document everything. And another thing, another quality in data and reporting is documentation. When you do documentation right, it means that your report can be adopted by someone else, right? Yeah. Actually, that's why I've spent more time here, because of those simple basic principles. Okay. Here in data cleaning, what else can I do? Now, when we look at this column date, it's a date. But when I look at the data type, it is showing ABC. It means that Power BI is still looking at it as a text. And for me, I feel that this is a date. Now, first, you can go ahead and explore why did they leave it as a text. They should have changed it to a date. Now here is the reason. You see the reason here? That for Lesotho, they just put the year, they didn't put the date and month when that number was picked. You also check here 2026 for Comoros. Their number was picked 2026, but no date, no time. So you see even this. So it becomes hard for us to change this as a date. Or when you try to change this as a date, it will automatically change, but some of the data sets, it will always pick an error. But the good thing with dates, when they have only put year, it will automatically give that value 1st of January. So if you look for Comoros very well, where is Comoros? Where did we leave it? Where is Comoros? I didn't. Anyway, we can come back here. Actually, you can always click back to the step before. Then we need to note the number, row number of where we had only year. Okay, we have Lesotho on 149. So let's go to the step where we have changed the data type. So let's go back to 149. So this is 149. Here we go. So Lesotho is here. So when you check for Lesotho here, sorry, I was trying to zoom, but I think the zoom didn't work out. Meanwhile, you can ask any question if you have it, as I struggle to take this back. Challenge is I don't have a mouse, so everything, let me check. So I think, let me first save this, because I'll have to first, let me first close and apply. Though I've done it early, then we can open Power Query Editor again. So maybe if you have any question, you can ask as it is loading. So what I have done is what you do after you have done your cleaning and everything you feel is fine, you close and apply. Yeah? Close and apply, then it loads your data set into your Power BI window. So that's what it always does when it is loading, and you should always not interrupt it, because sometimes when you interrupt it, there is a bug that when you click on here, this thing will go behind this window and you'll not be able to tap it until you close everything. Now when you check here, we are under data modeling view. That's why you see the table is looking like this. So this is our table that has loaded. When you go under data, and it is the only data we have, you see when it loads, this is the way it is. When you go under report view, you see now here it has changed because we have so far loaded some data. The interface has changed. You see this is the data we have. Now if I want to go back to Power Query Editor, there are two options. When you are under home, you can click on transform data. That is one option. It again opens the Power Query Editor. Remember, I closed the Power Query Editor because I had zoomed in and I didn't have a mouse to zoom in and out again. So this is it. If you always want to come back to Query Editor to do some other cleaning, maybe you forgot. The moment you're done still, you can always come here, you close and apply. It means you close the window, the editor, and you apply the changes. Or if you want to load more data, you can always say apply, then it applies the changes but leaves the window open. So there are many other options. Here we had just looked at changing data type, which we have done. Then let's look at this. Now here there is something else we can remove. This is source official from the United Nations. So there are other things maybe you can go here ahead separate, but if it is so essential that you're going to use it in your analysis. If not, please always remove anything that you're not going to use. So if I come back here and I go back to this setting, I can always go and use the same step to uncheck this also, like this. So when I come back on this step, I don't get an error. But that, you only have a guarantee that the column you went back to remove, you didn't use that column in these preceding steps. Otherwise, you would have also created another remove for the different column. So we confirm maybe this is what we can run with: the year, the population, the percentage, and the location. So obviously the other one is the world. Now you may ask yourself, do I need the whole world? Since the total here is giving us this percentage is giving us this, you can always say, no, I don't need the total for the world. Then you can always come here and remove it and check everything. No, check everything. You come and search for world and uncheck it and okay. It will automatically be removed. And here they will tell you filtered and removed something. When you click on that setting thing, they will tell you that you removed world. You removed anything that does not equal to world. In other words, you kept everything but not world. So that is now confirming that this is clean. I just go ahead and close and apply. It will close and apply. Now, let me assume we have done modeling and everything. Then here you can start doing your numbers. Like you can start pulling together a report, pulling filters and all that. We are just going to do that in a sneaky peeky. Then we can go on to something else. So why it takes time to load than if it was an Excel from your desktop, it's because it is evaluating the data every time with where it is coming from. That is the internet, that is Wikipedia. So you always also be conscious when you're loading things directly from the internet, if you have an option of pulling them to offline onto your desktop and load them. Maybe if you want them to refresh as when data changes. But the moment, if I know that this world population, I don't want to use it to pick it from wherever I'm picking it from, I'll just download it, put it on my desktop, then load from the desktop. That can be maybe an option I can show you maybe another day. So that's why you see that it's taking long to evaluate. And the same time it is taking right now, it is the time that it will always take when your people try to open your report. and that is not a good behavior for any tool or any product. So we can give it time, and sometimes it will also relate on the internet you have. So do you have any questions? Then we shall look at how do we load something from our desktop. It's taking way much time. Now you see, this is the problem. We timed out waiting for the web page to load. That's the challenge when you're picking data from the internet. So I'll go ahead and reapply again. So you'll find that where it is picking from, either the internet connectivity is low, or the other page, the server is down, or something is being done on that page which you don't have authority on to administer. So since we have seen how you pull data from the web, we shall not spend more time here. I will just discard the changes that I had done, and it will discard the changes of the other column I removed after. So when I look at this, it remains the way it is. Yes, Liz?
The reapply button is the same as the refresh button.
Yeah. No. Reapply, let me open again the transformation data. When we apply changes, when you're closing the Power Query editor, going back to the Power BI interface, the other main interface, that's where you do close and apply or apply. So you see this column has come back because I didn't save the changes, I didn't apply them. But if I removed them from, I removed it here, and I applied from here, maybe before closing, let me say apply. Still it is taking centuries, so it shouldn't be a worry. Now those are the challenges you get when you're connecting data on the web. Even if it is your company data that you have a portal where they have told you to pull data, you should always think about this. When the web is down, you'll always get such challenges. So I've closed that. I will go ahead and close, and they will ask me, do you want to apply changes? I will say discard the changes, I don't need them because of the problem I'm getting. Now that is different from refresh. So here refresh is different. If I say refresh data, it means that I'm going back to Wikipedia and refreshing. But this one that was loading was applying the changes of me removing the other column. So they are somehow different. But how they run in the background to pick fresh data is nearly the same. So here let's say if you're running to put in some data, maybe you're running a report, so you can run like a scorecard, and what can I put here is the population. You drag population and put on value, it will give you the value here on the scorecard, 16 billion. In case you don't want to show the billion, you can always come to formatting. This one we are going to find it in visualization. It shouldn't be a worry right now. And you select sum of population, and you come here value and say I don't want you to give me the units, leave it as none. It will give me the numbers like this, right? So when you click on this, you can always even do the format here by putting a comma. It will put the comma in the data. So like you can even pull charts, like I can pull maybe a bar chart here and drop their population in X and drop the locations here in Y. So that's it. You see, Now world is still there because I didn't apply the changes. You remember, that's why this one is becoming skewed. So that's how you come up with this. But all this is visualization. We have a lot to do before even we reach this stage. But when you have loaded data, you can always put your reports into, or your dashboard into shape. Okay, that being said, let's see how can we load a file on our desktop. So I'm going to open a file on the desktop. So I will look at this. Now here I'm having files. So I'm having files here. I'm having a file called dataset. So it has, when you look at this, it has files CSV format. Then also it has Excel, which is a workbook. So I'm going to pick these files one by one. We shall look at another option where you can directly connect the whole folder at once. Okay. I will create a new page here, not to distract me. Or you can even create another file. Actually, I will save this file of mine. I haven't saved it. And I take it in one of my repositories. So you come on File, you come on Save As, you come on Browse this device, you look for where your device is. So here I will look for where our folder is for the class. Then where is our folder? That is John. So I'll put it here. So this is transformation. So I'll load this. So now let's load an Excel. So we have said with Excel there are two options. You can use directly the get data. There is Excel here, there is CSV here. Then there is Excel, which is always at the forefront. So the moment you tap that, it means that you're going to look for an Excel somewhere where it is saved. So if I come to classes here, we said it is in November dataset. Now, you see when I come in dataset, if I open again the other dataset, you see in dataset, there are 6 files. But when I look at what is being seen here, they are seeing only one file. Why? Because it is one file that is an Excel, others are CSVs. That's why they are only looking at one. Let's say if we are picking a CSV here, text stroke CSV, and we go to that data set here, we'll look out for May, this. You see now you're looking at 5, yet there are 6 because one is an Excel. So we can start off with this. We can pick one by one, or another option can be you connecting the whole folder by clicking on more, then it brings all these options. So we have many connectors in Power BI, very many. All these companies archive data on behalf of the people. Either there is like Asana, this is for projects, in case your company is working with Asana and their data is kept in Asana, which means you can click here, log in, then you access that data directly. For those accounting companies where they use Salesforce, you can click on Salesforce. Let's search for Salesforce. It's here. Salesforce reports. So when you click on Salesforce reports, it takes you there. For those doing maybe ads on LinkedIn, you can click here on LinkedIn Sales Navigator, then it takes you to your account, then you pull the data. how people are buying, how people are liking, how people are commenting. So there are a lot of connectors. Try to preview them. Now here what I'm looking at is folder. That if I say I'm connecting this to a folder, I'll just do connect. Then it takes me to that dialog to look for a folder. I will browse, then look for a folder. Where is my folder? So, okay. Now, wherever it is, I have to open here to know where it is. So it is in OneDrive, Subtech, Clients, Power BI. Oh, it is in a long space. So I can come to this folder here, dataset, right click and say copy dataset path. So for you in Windows, you press a shift, you right click on a folder, it will always give you an option of copy path. The moment you copy path, that is the path I bring here directly, such that I shouldn't look for it. So the moment I put that path and enter, it should automatically take me there. So here I'm going to look for it. I come here, then I come on this, I come on this, then I look for Power BI classes. It's this far. So I come here, then I look for May, which is this, then this is dataset. So I click on it. It will log the link here. Then I will say, okay. It is going to browse my folder. How many files are in that folder? Now this is it. Here you're connecting a full folder to Power BI. But now what we are looking at here, it is the name of files, it is not the data itself, right? Now when we are connecting files, if these files are not of the same type or same format, it becomes hard for us to combine them. We can't combine them. So that's why we shall not do it, because these files are not the same format. This is dimension city, this is customer, this is date, this is employees. They are not the same. So we can't connect a file. But if you have the same files, like around 20 files, they are all having the same columns, that's when we use this option. I think we shall use it at some point. So I will cancel that. So which means you have to use file. Let's start with CSV. Let's pull one. Okay. Here, then dataset. We start with fact cell. We pull that. The moment you okay. Oh, sorry. My data is on OneDrive, so it has to download fast. So that's fine. I will come here and download it first. But meanwhile, if you have any question, please you can go ahead and ask. So these are the files. So we'll select all of them. Right click and I say keep these files on this device, such that it's easy to run through. Any question? Anyone? So here you can load as many reports you have. You can load Excels, you can load PDFs, you can load, I don't know whether you knew that Power BI can also load PDFs. You can load a PDF if it is an invoice that was sent by a customer. You can load it and pull data from there directly without manually typing those numbers from the invoice. And if those invoices are the same, it becomes easy. Like if you have 20 invoices, you can combine all of them at once and pick that at once and pull it into Power BI with ease. But still, it depends how that PDF was saved. If it was saved as a scan, it becomes different for you to pull the data. So as we give it time to open, okay, here it is. So it is loading, and boom. So the moment it loads, it will also bring that dialog box that we had before, but this one is different. Now also it is different because it is a CSV. CSV brings you this, you see the comma separated. Remember, CSV means comma separated version. Here it shows you that the delimiter is comma. It is this one they are basing on 200 first rows. If you want to base on the entire, you can do it, but it takes long to load, something like that. I said we can always first take it to transform data. Don't load before you know that your data is correct and it is transformed right. So here I will transform it, and boom, it is going to load now in the Power Query editor. Okay, now when it loads, already 3 steps have been done for us. We can click on source, we see the source where it came from. You see here we have even the file, the folder where it came from. Then the next, they came and promoted the header. You see, when you look at the source, the header was row number 1, so it was promoted to become the header. That was the next step. Then the next is changing type. They changed type for us. You see all these columns, all this that has been written in the background, it shows you that they came to sales key, they changed the type into integer. Int64 means integer. They came to city, they changed this to integer. They came to customer key, they changed it to integer, like that. That's what it means. That's why you see all these are numbers. Then when you look at all columns, now when you look at the other option we had, it shows that we have 21 columns and 999 plus rows. That means that our rows are exceeding 1000. So here you can always go ahead and look out for what you're going to change. Data cleaning, I know that will come maybe in the next session where we are going to do, I know we are running out of time, but I need at least the basics to be done. So you can always go and change, like, okay, city key. Yes, city key is a number, but do I need to leave it as a number? Maybe no, maybe yes. But why do I go with a no? Because this city key, there is no day I will want to add it. There is no day I will want to get the average. There is no day I will want to subtract between one city key and another. It means me putting it as a number is the best choice I can make. I'll give you the reasons why. Now, this option means that what you're doing is the same step that Power BI was on. Now they're asking you, can they add this step you're doing into what is already here, or you want to create your own step? If I say I want to create my own step, they will create a new step. And in this new step, what is there is just changing a city key, the type to text, with ease. Reading that code is very easy. Then also customer key is a number. I don't also want to leave it as a number, it is text. I've given you the reason why some of the numbers we change them to text, such that when we are doing our analysis, that number should never pop up as if I have to add it. Because when you are doing your aggregation, you may find yourself you have added customer key to get the total customer key, and someone will ask you, does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. Or you added the city key. A key is an identifier that is in another table that we shall have to connect with another table. So it is not an aggregated number that we need to leave in the data type of a number. You only leave things in data type of a number like quantity, because at some point we are going to add the total sum of quantities, like unit, because we are going to use it to multiply quantity times unit price to get the amount, like tax rate, like total excluding tax amount. All these we are leaving them as numbers, and this is a decimal, which means you can even change it to percentage. If you know that it is meant to be a percentage, you can change it to percentage, but it's becoming more than that. So I will Remember when I said that you can't undo? Indeed, you can't undo. The only way I can undo is coming here and deleting this, but which might create errors. So the only thing I have to do is taking this back to decimal. And they say replace the current because it wants to rewrite what is there. I will say replace and it will change this now to number. So that's how you deal with that. There are many principles that we consider when we are cleaning data. Like something I've told you. These keys are not supposed to be left as numbers for the reason. But even if you leave them as numbers, there is no problem. But time will come, they will be confusing you. They will be popping up as if you have to aggregate them. But if I put them as text in the exception, they will never pop up in the list of things I should aggregate in this table. And it becomes handy for me. Okay. Now when that is done, you clear that is the name I need and everything is fine. You go ahead. If you want to load something else, you just come here. You see here where there is new, then you say new source, then you say I want another CSV. Now since we have already opened the table, we shall not go through that hassle. It will come directly to that table. So I can load this, enter. It loads. Now you can say, let me load all the CSVs, then start looking at them one by one. So you can go and load them, all of them, and just do OK. It loads. Because I'm already in the Power Query editor, then you go and load another one like this. So you can say, let me first load all of them. That's how you load them. Then you will come later, start going through one by one as you clean. What I'm telling you that you have to spend at least 60% of your time in cleaning data than in building the dashboard itself. So I'm loading all of them. Even that. Okay. I think we are remaining with no, we still have mob. Those are 4 city. Then remember we have an Excel. Not all of them are CSVs. So remember we have an Excel. This time I'm going to say new source, then Excel. Then it will bring me here. I have the employee, which was Excel. Now they become 6. Leaving out the other population that we got from the net. Okay. Now, you see now how the Excel is opening. Different from how CSV is opened. Who can give me the reason? Before I give you the reason why it is opening like this. For it is opening for us to first select than loading directly as how the other one was giving us. Anyone with a reason? If you are speaking, you're all mute. Yes, Liz.
I think because a CSV file only does not allow multiple sheets, unlike an Excel.
Yes, that's the exact answer. I just need to re-echo it, not changing anything. Now, CSVs, you can't save more than one sheet in a CSV. I think Liz will have ever talked about this. Okay, it's fine. It's good you remember. So CSVs are always having one sheet. You can't have 2 sheets in a CSV. The moment you put 2 sheets and you save, when you reopen it again, 1 sheet is gone. So that's why CSVs were opening the other way, that I don't need to select. But an Excel workbook opens like this because here you'll find there is a ton of sheets. Like if you have a workbook that has more than 1 sheet, you'll see all those sheets here. And you'll be able to select what you want and what you don't want, you leave it. That is the reason. Okay, here we select what we need and we load it. Now the moment they load all of them, Here it loads. Now, most of the cases, not to always repeat what we do, because now we have experience. You can always apply this, because I've taken time to load all these sources of data. The moment this Power Query gets a problem or it hints on any error, I will have to close this and I will lose everything. So because here you can't save from here, you have to apply. You only save when you go the other side. So here I will just say I want to remain with the Power Query editor open. The only thing I want is to apply the changes. So you'll see that I'm applying the changes, but my Power Query editor is going to remain open. If you want to apply and close, you do the other way around. Apply and close. Everything is tick. The nightmare here is getting one of the file with an X and it tells you it has stopped others loading because one file has a problem. Those are the challenges we shall find, and you'll always have to troubleshoot backwards. So now everything has closed, which means even if I close this editor right now, everything has been applied. So now you can start going through one query by one, looking at how data is. Now you see now like this data. Like this data, let's see what are the major things we need to look at. First of all, the header is not the heading. When you look at the heading is in row 2, which means we have to promote it to become the header. We can do promoting times 2, or we can also first remove row 1, then we promote the header when it has come in row 1. So those are the two options. First of all, I can say, how do I remove row 1? Here you don't do like this and right click and delete. No, you don't do like that. You can just click on it and maybe come and say remove rows. Then they ask you want to remove top row? Yes, I want to remove the top row. If you have a number of rows you want to remove, then you'll come on remove rows. When you click on remove rows, duplicate rows, keep rows, remove rows, top rows. Remove top rows. Here you can always give it a number. How many top rows do you want to remove? If I say 3, it is going to remove 1, 2, 3. You'll see now our first row will be this one starting with a 1. So you have to be careful with that. We are only removing 1 row. So the moment I do OK, 1 row is gone. Now you see our heading now is in the first row. How do we promote it to become the headers? We have something they call here, use first row as headers. It is under transform. You see here, it is under home as a shortcut here, but when you go under transform, you also find it here. Where? It is here. Use first row as headers. So when you say click use first row as headers, it automatically makes the first row to become the header. And how do we call it in applied steps? We call it promoted headers. And automatically it changes types for you. Like looking at this, that this is a number, this is a text, it does all that for you. And if there is also a date, even it changes the dates for you. But you always have to check every column, the data set. Now you see now like this column, the recommended retail price. This is a price, but it has a question mark. And that's why they are leaving it as a text, because they couldn't change it to numbers. Now our worry is how do we remove the question mark? We are in data cleaning now. So first of all, like I said, when you're creating steps, you should prohibit from recreating steps. Now since I'm on change type, I will want to first do change type on all. Then after that, I can do something else. But still, you can do what is nearer you have seen, such that you don't forget, but you can always also document. that when I'm exploring this table, I'll look at this stock item, and when I see a column I don't understand, write in your notebook. If you're going to ask the stakeholders, maybe it is operations, maybe it is finance, walk there and ask them. But first document everything. Like, you go through all the tables, even if there are 20 tables. Document columns you don't understand. Document columns that has weird numbers and you're asking them, do we really need a 0? In stock item, I found there an item called unknown. What does it mean? Is it viable? Can I leave it there? Also, you can always change also by check by yourself. If I right click on this and I say, let me filter it out. So you say text filter equals to unknown, because I've clicked on unknown. It will come as 1. But the question has to be, do I need to leave it there? Does it have any data? And when I check all through, it is blank, somewhere it is 0, it means I may not need it. But before you remove it still, you have to check whether there is an item customers are buying called unknown. The moment you remove it here and you make relationships at the end, those items will never exist in your cells because you removed what would be connecting them. So there is a reason why every entry is always there. So like this entry, we are saying it is unknown. But the truth is, if I go in fact cells, and I go in stock items, where is stock items? Stock item, there is key here. Stock item, let's say, is there a name? And when you're scrolling like this, sometimes your eyes get tired. Don't hustle. Come back, come on home always and click on choose columns. It gives you a list of all the columns like this. You get? Then you can always even search from here. I'm looking for stock. The only thing that is there is stock item. Okay. If I know that there is stock item, under stock item, am I having an item that has a key of 0? Because we need to confirm that before we remove that item. So when we come under stock item key, this is it. Let's look at the filter. Do we have anything that is 0? If I put here 0, it's not there, which means we don't have a stock item named as 0. We are okay. It's okay that way. But before you remove it, you always have to document and ask the users the main source of where the data is coming from, to make sure that they explain what it means before you remove it. So this step, I will cancel it such that we go back to our previous step, right? Now, I'm just going to do a few of the things, but I will want you to review this data set. I'm going to share it with you. Review it, load it, and clean it thoroughly as if you were doing an analysis on this. Now, there is what we saw on the prices here, these commas, the question marks. How do we remove the question marks? If I click on one of the number and I look at it here in the value, I will find that this question mark has a space between the number and it. It means it has a space and a question mark. So which means if we are replacing it, we have to replace a space in front of that number and a question mark. How do you do that? With ease, select the column. Then you see all the numbers here having question marks. You come on transform. Come on transform and look for replace. Replace values. It is here. Or you can always right click on this column you have selected. There are shortcuts there handy. You don't always need to go back to the menu. So when I right click, I have replace values here. The moment I click on that, it will bring this. Which value are you finding? I'm finding a question mark and a space. What are you replacing it with? I'm replacing it with nothing. Don't put anything, just go ahead and do equals. Sorry, okay. It will automatically remove it and it will create for you as a step there. Now, before I'm cancelling this such that we go back. I want to show you errors such that you know when you get them. If I was in a hurry, I was like, no, let me change this to decimal, it will change. The moment you change it to decimal, obviously they have told me to replace values, but I'm not going to replace value because I know it is going to bring errors. I'll add the new step because I don't want to distort all the other step. You see, it is giving you errors. Do you know why the error is coming? The error is coming because you can't change that question mark into a number, and everything has become an error. So which means I have to close this step. Now I know where the problem is coming from. If you click in the error, it will always sometimes give you what it is. Data format error. We couldn't convert to number. The detail they're giving you that number. If you click on another number, still it also comes with the same error. And when you pull this and drop it into AI, in case you don't know what the hell am I supposed to do, AI will tell you, by the way, remove the question mark, and it will give you the steps. Go right click, remove, replace, and boom, it will be done. So let's remove this step. We do the correct thing. Right click, replace value, put here question mark space, replace it with nothing. Okay, gone. Now you can go ahead and even replace other things. Like if I say in retail prices, I don't want a dash. In accounting or in data, this dash may mean something else. So I can always replace these dashes with something that is numerical, that like a 0. So you can come here, right click, and say replace all dashes, right click. This is another option you can do it. You see replace, or you can come here, you right click and say replace. Those are two options. But remember, the replace here, you put the dash and you put the 0, right? And you do OK. Then the other option may be you go to that same value, you right click on it and say replace, and you put a 0 here. The option here is that it will still replace all the dashes in the column, not only this. So we go ahead and do OK. You see, we change this into a 0, such that when we have reached a point of changing this to decimal, everything is going to be fine. We have 100% valid and 0 errors. Okay, now guys, before we move further, I know the same thing we are doing this side, and it is a continuous learning on how we do the cleaning. There are a lot of things we clean. Before we go further, there are things that you may not find in your interface. I want to first talk about them before we drop. You see this profile row that you're seeing here that is showing us valid errors empty. You will always need this thing to be there as you're doing your analysis, because it gives you a quick check how healthy your column is. How do we activate it and deactivate it in case you never found it? And also, when I select a column, there is what comes that the value distribution. It gives you everything that is in here, and when you hover it, it gives you the number that item is appearing. Even you have a statistics here, the count, the distinct, the minimum, the maximum, name them. How do we put all these? You always come on view. When I uncheck column quality, you see the other bar automatically disappears. So it means that you always come in view and make sure that your column quality is always checked to have that bar that is giving us. You can spend like 2 hours looking for it. So that's where you find it. Then for you, when you click on any column, then it profiles for you the data like this. Let's say that even if I come, let's say under customers like this, and I click, let's say, on customer name, and it profiles like this, it gives me every customer. If I click maybe on the buying group, it shows me I have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups, or 3 or 2. How we get that is this we call column profiling. You see, the moment I check it, it goes. how it comes back. So you always also need it. Then there is column distribution. Why I don't need this to be checked always, it takes a lot of space. Column distribution tells you how how your values are distributed. That in this column you have 5 distinct and 3 unique. It means you have 5 values that don't repeat each other, and you have 3 unique values that have been repeating each other, but they have got for you 3 of them that keep repeating each other. Here you have 400 out of 400. It means that everything is unique. Nothing is repeating itself. That's what it means. But I don't need always that. I hate it. I always need it to do a check and always remove it. This is on giving permissions, but I'm not going to go there. At least I think I've talked about that. Then when you reach a point and this bar disappears, this bar, you can always click here, it will disappear or come back. So sometimes you may not need it, because you may find that I don't need to look at it and it is taking for space. You can click here, it disappears. But we shall need it when you're doing DAX. So then there is query settings. That is the applied steps. You see, when this applied steps, you cancel it and it disappears. Once one of the students called me and told me, I have spent 4 hours looking for these applied steps. Like 4 hours, where it is. But it's something small, because when you're home here, you don't see it, and you ask yourself, how do they bring it back? So you always come to view and check it here. Anything that you see here, you can always activate it in view. So shouldn't always get worried when it disappears. Okay, so with data cleaning, there are a lot of things we do. Would want us to read notes. Most of the things we remove, they are duplicates. We remove nulls, we remove not availables. I've shown you how we replace values, which can work for most of the things. I've shown you how we promote. Like now this customer tab, the customer dimension table. What do we have to do here? Is removing the first row, we promote the header. Or you can do promote times 2. I do promote here once, it promotes the other one on the header, and again promote the second time. Then it promotes the header I want. Then you see there is not the unknown as a name of a customer. Don't remove it not until you confirm that there are no customers who were buying called unknown. And when you come to this data set, when you come to the fact cells, the customers that were called unknown were the many ones. I think they were the walk-ins. It was maybe a shop, they don't know the person, he walks in and buys and goes. So they were the majority ones, because you see them, they have the 0 key. You see this key, 0. So they are the ones here when you come to fact cells. You see those. And when you click here on the customer key, you see they are the walk-ins. They are 570. Now the moment you remove it from the customer table, when you start doing data relationships, all this data that was bought by customer 0 with the key 0, because we removed it, we thought like we don't need it, you'll find that they are the most customers, and your data will be skewed. You're presenting commercial telling you that we have these numbers, you're telling them, me, I have this, because you did some decisions without inquiry or without thoroughly looking at all your data sets. I think I have made a round of a lot of things. If we check back this side, maybe meanwhile I get questions. I don't want to pack us for long. I know Liz is still in office. Kenneth, you said you're still in office. I don't know. So I need to release people to hit the road.
don't have any questions for now. I'll just go back and do practice. Maybe I could get questions from there.
Yes, actually, I appreciate how you're using the AI module, though it got you off. Remember, those ones who haven't started using the AI, the click for more, you only have 10 in a day, so use them responsibly. But in case you're stuck, you can always call me, and or you can always chat me, and we see how we can increase for that day. So I think we have gone through all this. We have had a round here. Kenneth, you're saying something? Okay.
I said I also have no question, but I think tomorrow I'll just try to reach out to you. This Power BI that we downloaded on the laptop. You just need some bit of help. I'll reach out to you tomorrow.
You're using the company one?
No, personal.
Oh, okay, fine. That's fine. So here, when we look at module 2, we have gone through what is Power Query Editor, the data types and column management, removing duplicates, blanks, rows, and errors. Those ones, it is nearly something we shall be doing routinely. Handling nulls, how you replace, that is on replacing. Maybe next time we shall start on seeing how we can split some data sets, how we merge, appending and merging queries, then creating custom columns. So that will be the next time we meet. I will be communicating in case maybe, because we have chosen one day in a week, but I think after the month starts, we can start iterating with at least 2 days in a week, such that we finish it earlier. Then you have ample time to revise and doing the other stuff. But still, let's make the group live and ask many questions as you can. You can put them in the group. You don't need to put them in my inbox, such that even the other teams can see what is ongoing. So I expect you to do quiz number 1. Quiz number 2, you can attempt it maybe after we have finished the other ones. But go ahead and read, such that we shouldn't leave you behind. We still have a long way to go, but make sure that this you have passed. Try to just do a review and it is part of you, such that when we go ahead, you don't get troubled with some of the terminologies we shall be talking about. Yes, Andrew?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Saviti. You talked about the use of the AI. The prompt is 10 per item, or you choose 10 among the lessons?
No, the tokens per day. Because now when you come, let's say on this topic,
per day.
In other words, per day, if you to generate, those will be like generating for each lesson, those will be like 10 lessons, right? But I will see how I can increase for those, because I have a report I look at this side for those that are using. So I can give maybe more to those that are using more for now, because I have a report here that runs the usage. Okay, where is it? Just a moment. Okay, here it is. AI usage. Then you can see now how here everyone is using. This one has used 7 today. No, 6 today, and others we had 0. You can see Liz has used 18 since the 30 days ago. I'd put her at 20 because that day she was doing a lot of reading. So I can look at the numbers here and add you depending on how you're using them, because the limit is there because I pay for them. I pay for those tokens. So here how you generate, the prompt is already there. It is already prompted. You don't need to prompt it. For you, just click on generate. It will bring you in the right format we put it. The summary, the key terminologies, the mistakes, the common mistakes anyone can do on that topic and all that. And the best way I told you, just copy it and take it in Notebook LM. I think I spent more time on that, such that it is easy for us to read. Otherwise, it would be hard for you to read all these notes, and at some point you get bored and lose out. But when you copy the whole of this and take it in Notebook LM, it becomes easy for you to ask Notebook LM. You ask here questions, and Notebook LM will always give you options. And by the way, yesterday, Notebook LM had an update that now you can ask it to output for you, output in PPT, PowerPoint. PowerPoint is not here. Slide deck, it is not PowerPoint. So when you ask it to output for you PowerPoint, it will output for you a PowerPoint that you can also even edit. That update came out yesterday, but one, I think. Yeah, I think. So you can use Notebook LM. It is handy that it is just there for you to use. Otherwise, it is 8 p.m. net, and I will ask us to give those people who are not yet home time to navigate home. And I wish you a good evening. So